was the town's resident jerk. So when Anna Miller pinned me down in the hayloft, I was ecstatic, thinking my feelings for her were finally returned. But then I saw the text floating in the air, and my blood ran cold. Ooh, so gross. The toxic side character actually gets the girl? The main character isn't some pushover you can just harass. Just wait until she remembers who she is. This loser is finished. Ethan Carter is her real fiancé. He's endgame. Get lost, you creep. I stared, completely baffled. As I climbed out of the haystack, I overheard a conversation outside. Miss, you're engaged to Mr. Ethan Carter. This crude country boy is not worthy of you. Anna's voice was cool and detached. Don't tell him. I'll handle it. A chill shot through me. Don't bother handling it. I'll see myself out. Oh no, this is bad. If the toxic side character finds out she's actually a rich girl from the city, he'll cling to her even harder and ruin everything for the main couple. Seriously, this Noah guy is disgusting. His name is as boring as he is. And he's always bullying our sweet Ethan. Get him away from our kind, handsome Ethan. He uses such shameless, low-life tactics to hit on the female lead, acting all high and mighty just because his dad's the mayor. He has no idea who he's messing with. Serves him right when she gets her revenge, and his family is ruined, and he dies a horrible death. Reading those comments, a cold sweat broke out on my skin. My name is Noah, and I'm the only son of the Havenwood mayor. Everything they said about the toxic side character fit me perfectly. Ethan Carter was one of the city kids, here in town for the same summer volunteer program as Anna. He was clean-cut, handsome, and polished. He spoke politely and carried himself with the easy confidence of a rich kid from Seattle. He was exactly the kind, handsome, male lead the comments described. And the female lead they were talking about had to be Anna. I didn't know who was writing these comments or where they were coming from, but they weren't just spouting nonsense. They knew what was happening between us. Did that mean their predictions about my horrible death were also true? A wave of fear washed over me, my mind a chaotic mess. Just then, I heard the barn door creak open. It sounded like their conversation was over. I quickly lay back down in the hay, shutting my eyes and pretending to be asleep. Unhurried footsteps approached. It was Anna. She stood over me, looking down. I went rigid. If I hadn't heard her stop, I would have thought she'd already left. After what felt like an eternity, I felt her breath close to my face. The soft pads of her fingers brushed against my chest. My open shirt was pulled closed, the buttons fastened one by one. I walked back with Anna. She was staying with my family for the summer program, so we always headed home together after our work shifts. But she was always careful to keep her distance, never walking beside me. The setting sun stretched her shadow long and thin. She was already coolly beautiful, with fair skin that never seemed to tan. A city girl, a book-smart girl. The practical work clothes she wore couldn't hide her slender, yet full figure, her curves graceful and alluring. Combined with a face so pretty it seemed to glow, she had captivated more than a few local guys, myself included. Anna, Ethan Carter called out, jogging over to walk beside her. They were both from the city, so they naturally had more in common than she had with any of us from Havenwood. Anna turned her head to talk to him, her long lashes casting tiny shadows on her cheeks. The line of her elegant nose and jaw was perfect, her rosy lips opening and closing as they discussed things about the city I couldn't understand. A sour feeling churned in my stomach. I couldn't follow their conversation, couldn't join in. My shadow trailed pathetically behind them, a world apart. The truth is, I always knew we were from different worlds. I was like a frog at the bottom of a well who, upon seeing a white bird fly overhead, fantasized that if he could just grab onto it, he too could learn to fly and become a bird himself. Anna and Ethan look so good together. Why is the toxic side character so quiet today? He's not even trying to interfere. Haha, he finally realized he's a toad trying to eat swan meat. What a loser. They were right. Usually, whenever I saw them together, I'd deliberately wedge myself between them, either by shoving my way into the middle or by making up some lie to send Anna away. I'd then relish Ethan's frustration as I triumphantly led Anna off. But now, reading those hateful words, I lost all my courage. I felt as if I were standing naked in a crowd, all my darkest thoughts exposed for everyone to see, to mock. Shame, embarrassment, ugliness. Was everything I did really that repulsive? My steps slowed until I was lagging far behind. Ethan looked back. "Noah, what's with you today?" So quiet. His voice was laced with mockery. "Aren't you going to tell us how planes are just a type of bird? Or how the internet is delivered by clouds?" Hearing this, Anna turned to look at me. The hint of a smile she'd had while talking to Ethan vanished, replaced by a frown. Her light-colored eyes, tinted amber by the sunset, were clear, beautiful, and utterly cold. Her voice was sharp. "Noah, what are you up to now?" A lump formed in my throat, and my eyes started to burn. So it was true. It was all just my own pathetic one-sided obsession. Why is the toxic side character acting so weird? Is he actually crying? For some reason, I almost feel bad for him. Feel bad for him? Are you kidding? He brought this all on himself, chasing after a girl who's not interested. He deserves it. I fought back the tears, forcing a smile like I usually would, trying to keep my voice from trembling. I just remembered I forgot something. "You guys go on ahead." With that, I turned and ran as if a monster were chasing me. But I knew no one would come after me. I hid behind a stack of hay bales, my heart aching. I noticed the floating comments were gone. Earlier today, when we were in the barn, Anna had held me down with surprising strength. She must have hated me for always pestering her. She covered my eyes and pressed herself into my arms, her soft, smooth skin against my hands. It was a warm, fragrant embrace, and I should have been happy. But after hearing what she said to her friend, all the strength drained out of me. Anna was moving so fast, climbing so high. Just keeping up with her was hard enough. Why would she ever look back for me? She was probably relieved to finally shake me off. It was true. I had brought this all on myself. I deserved it. As it got dark, I heard someone calling my name. I wiped my face, getting ready to head home. "Noah, I knew you'd be here." Anna's voice cut through the twilight. "You always hide here when you're slacking off." I stared at the ground, not wanting to talk to her. "Why aren't you going home? Who upset you this time?" she asked, looking at me. Then, as if just realizing, "Are you not feeling well?" When I still didn't respond, she took my arm and draped it over her shoulder. Her voice was laced with resignation. "Come on, I'll help you home." But as I looked up, it wasn't her delicate, lovely face I saw, but those glaring lines of text. Seriously? Who wants to watch the villain's storyline? When did Noah learn to play the victim? He's surprisingly good at it. She's only looking for this loser because she's staying at his house and doesn't want to make things awkward with his parents. My fingers, which were about to touch her back, recoiled as if shocked. "No, it's fine. I'm not sick." I tried to sidestep her and leave, but I had stood up too fast and felt a wave of dizziness. Anna's arms, though seemingly slender, were strong and held me steady. I was getting annoyed. "What is your problem?" She supported me as we walked out. Just as we reached the path, I saw my parents approaching with a lantern, calling my name. I stumbled toward them and hugged my mom. I thought about what the comments said, how I would force myself on Anna, oppose Ethan, and bring ruin to my family, ultimately ending in my own tortured death. Thankfully, none of that had happened yet. Mom and Dad were still here. The unfairness of it all overwhelmed me, and my voice trembled as I cried out, "Mom." My parents were confused and looked at Anna. "Anna, what's wrong with Noah?" Anna just pressed her lips together and said nothing. It felt like a beautiful, colorful dream had shattered, revealing nothing but cheap, shiny candy wrappers that reflected a pathetic, laughable illusion. I didn't want Anna anymore. I didn't dare. The next morning, my parents called me to get up for the day's work. "Noah, you lazy bum, sleeping in again. Anna's been all ready and waiting for you by the door for half an hour." I brushed my teeth slowly and said to Anna at the door, "You and Ethan can go ahead. I'll get there on my own." Anna frowned but didn't move. My mom gave me a shove. "You slacker. Don't make Anna wait for you." I dragged my feet until we were almost late. Ethan had even come by to get her twice, but Anna still wouldn't leave. In the end, I had to walk behind her like I always did. But today, Anna seemed to be deliberately waiting for me. I walked slow, so she walked slow until she was almost beside me. I quickly took a few large strides to get ahead of her, but she just caught up to walk beside me again. Finally, I slowed to a stop, and she stopped too. Noah, what are you so angry about? What did I do now to upset you? Is it about yesterday? You were clearly. Anna paused. Then after a moment of silence, she said softly, Noah, I'll take responsibility for you. Her voice was so quiet. She must have been completely unwilling. I didn't want her pity. I looked up at her and said seriously, Anna, I don't need you to take responsibility. The blush on Anna's cheeks instantly drained away, leaving her face pale. She tried to say something else, but someone in the distance was calling us to start work. I turned and walked away. After a morning of work, I saw Anna again during the lunch break. I had discovered that I could only see the comments when I was near Anna and Ethan. When I was alone or working with the other townspeople, they didn't appear. At lunch, Ethan sat next to her. In the past, I would have taken my lunch and squeezed between them, eagerly sharing the extra food my mom packed for me. I'd chatter endlessly in her ear, saying things that, to her, must have sounded ignorant and ridiculous. Sometimes she'd laugh, and I'd just stare at her, smiling foolishly along with her, laughing at my own stupidity. The other locals would always tease me. Anyone could see my clumsy, unconcealed affection. But now, I didn't want to go over there anymore. I didn't want to get tangled up with them, and I didn't want to see those piercing, heartbreaking comments. Hey, Noah, not hanging out with Anna today? Did you two have a fight? Someone asked. I shook my head, grinning my usual carefree grin. Nah, just figured it out. The city kids are better off sticking together. From a distance, Anna looked up and stared straight at me. Her gaze was as cold as the calm before a storm. My heart skipped a beat, and I turned away, refusing to look at her again. I didn't speak to Anna, and during work, I stuck with the local crew, no longer trying to insert myself into the group of city volunteers. One afternoon, I went home to grab something. As I was leaving, it started to rain. My mom handed me an umbrella. Looks like the afternoon shift is a wash. Go get Anna and bring her back with you. I didn't want to, but with the weather, I had no choice. I hadn't been walking long before the rain turned into a downpour, soaking me through. By the time I found Anna, the umbrella was almost useless. The moment she saw me, she started scolding me angrily. You came out in this. I was taken aback by her tone and was about to snap back when she grabbed a spare jacket from nearby and threw it over my shoulders. Only then did I realize my thin, wet shirt was plastered to my body, outlining every muscle. I'd done manual labor my whole life, so my shoulders and arms were broad and strong. The wet shirt was more revealing than no shirt at all. A few of the girls from town cast shy glances my way. My face flushed, and I cleared my throat, a little embarrassed. But then I looked at Anna, and she was in a worse state. The fabric of her shirt was already stretched tight across her chest, and now that it was wet, it was practically see-through. I quickly looked away, pulling her close and wrapping the large jacket around both of us. With my body shielding most of hers, I said, flustered, "You're the one who's soaked." The rain was coming down too hard, so we had to take shelter in a small, old shed by the road. But even after we were inside, Anna didn't let go of me. The sound of the torrential rain couldn't drown out my racing heartbeat, and the cold rainwater couldn't extinguish the heat where our skin touched. I tried to push her away, but she backed me against the wall. Anna looked down at me, raindrops trickling down her face, her eyes dark and alluring. Her soft, full body was pressed tightly against mine, her chest pushing against me. Her voice was low and husky as she demanded, "Noah, why have you been ignoring me since that day? Was it just a fling for you? Were you just playing with me?" I had never expected her to be like this. Trapped in a corner with nowhere to run, I felt flustered and cornered. I blurted out the first thing that came to mind, trying to save face. Of course it was just for fun. Girls are all the same. Once you've had a taste, it's nothing special. Anna seemed infuriated by my words. The hand on the small of my back tightened, pressing her curves even more firmly against my rain-soaked clothes. Her soft hands began to deliberately explore, making me feel like I was about to overheat. Anna leaned in and nibbled on my ear, her voice a soft, seductive whisper. "Noah, I don't believe you. Why don't you have another taste?" My whole body felt like it was on fire. The chaotic, electrifying memories of the barn exploded in my mind like fireworks. I shoved her hard. Anna, stop it. This is harassment. Anna pinned my hands and licked the side of my throat, her voice breathy. Noah, you harassed me first. You have to take responsibility for me. Esther de her, dumbfounded. She took the opportunity to capture my lips, her tongue invading my mouth with an aggressive, possessive hunger. Her breath was hot and urgent, tangling with mine. She kissed me until I was breathless, my vision blurring until all I could see were her beautiful eyes, her light gaze reflecting a fiery intensity that made me dizzy. Anna bit my lip, her eyes fixed on me as if she wanted to devour me whole. Noah, if you don't take responsibility, I'll report you. The words snapped me back to reality, and the blood in my veins turned to ice. If she reported me for something like this, it wouldn't just be me. My whole family would be dragged into it. We'd be the town gossip, and I might even end up in jail. I remembered the comments saying I'd be ruined because of her revenge. I grabbed her shoulders and pushed her away, feeling like a complete idiot for ever getting involved with such a thankless person. My family had treated her with nothing but kindness. I helped her with her work every day, did anything she asked, and was stupid enough to fall for her, letting her and Ethan mock me while I chased after her. And this is how she repays me? With threats? A bitter, sour feeling rose in my chest, a mix of shock and fear. I couldn't stop my voice from choking up. Anna, you just take advantage of me because you know I'm good to you. You push me around because you know I like you. You were the one who initiated things. You got just as much out of it as I did. Do you really want to see me in jail that badly? Anna's pretty eyes widened, and she stared at me, looking genuinely hurt. That's not what I meant. By report you, I just meant I'd tell your parents. Noah, you don't have to play me like this. What? I was playing her? She was the one playing me. Just then, the comments flickered back into existence around her. Whoa, what just happened? Is there something we premium subscribers aren't allowed to see? OMG, why is the main girl with the toxic side character? Wait, don't tell me his whole playing hard to get thing is actually working on her. No. Seeing the comments again, filled with disgust and contempt, felt like 1,000 knives stabbing me in the heart. My family might not be as fancy as the ones in the city, but I was my parents' only son, and they'd spoiled me my whole life. Sure, I could be selfish and bossy. I was lazy, and I hated reading, but I wasn't a bad person. Everyone in town seemed to like me just fine. There was never a shortage of people trying to set me up with their daughters. Why do the people writing these comments hate me so much? Just because I had a crush on Anna, and she'd pinned me down in a barn? But the moment I heard she was engaged to Ethan, I had decided to back off. The more I thought about it, the more wronged I felt, and my eyes welled up. Anna, I know you all look down on me. You laugh at me for being a dumb country kid, not as smart as you city volunteers. But am I really that worthless? If you had just told me from the beginning that you were engaged to Ethan, I never would have bothered you. Anna froze. How did you? She quickly put the pieces together. You heard us that day. I closed my eyes. Yeah, I heard. So, Anna, you don't have to figure out a way to handle me anymore. I'll stay far away from you. And don't talk to me again. I don't like you anymore, and I don't want to talk to you. Anna bit her lip, her beautiful eyes fixed on me without blinking. Her chest rose and fell with her heavy breathing. The comments around her were scrolling rapidly. Holy crap, what is this plot twist? The side character is on strike. He's not simping anymore. Did the toxic side character get a system update or something? Wait, is the main girl actually feeling bad for him now? I think I feel a little bad for Noah. If you think about it, he didn't do anything wrong besides being bold about his crush. And he was always helping her with her work. She's the one who hid her engagement. Isn't that basically just using a guy who likes you? What are you talking about? Did you forget how much of a creep he was before? Reading their judgments made me sick. They didn't even know me, yet they felt they had the right to pick me apart. I couldn't stand being near Anna and those comments for another second. I threw the umbrella and jacket at her, and, ignoring the downpour, shoved the door open and ran out into the rain. I got home not long before Anna followed. I've always been healthy, a human furnace even in winter, so the rain didn't affect me at all. But Anna got sick. My mom chewed me out for it. I asked you to go get her, and this is what happens. You couldn't have waited for the rain to let up a bit before dragging her home. I kept my head down and shoveled food into my mouth, saying nothing. And what happened to Anna's shoulder? You hot-headed kid, you can't just hit a girl when you're fighting. I gave you the day off from work. You're staying home to take care of Anna. I don't want to. My mom gave me a smack on the back of the head and left. I had no choice but to bring the breakfast I'd saved for Anna to her room. She was feverish and still asleep. I breathed a sigh of relief, tucked her in, replaced the damp cloth on her forehead, and sat by the bed, carving a small wooden figure. The comments around her started up again. He said he was done with her yesterday, but here he is again today. See? Once a simp, always a simp. I'm surprised he's not taking advantage of the situation to do something to her. LOL, this is kind of like watching a grandpa fan his granddaughter. It's almost sweet. This is so annoying. Can you guys just shut up? Who's he talking to? The main character isn't saying anything. I'm talking to you. The words that are always floating around. The comments, which I could see whenever I was near Anna or Ethan, went from confused to utterly shocked. What's happening? Is he talking about US? No way. He can see the live comments. I proved it by reading several of their comments out loud, word for word. The feed exploded. Countless new messages appeared, stacking on top of each other so fast they blurred Anna's form. Stop talking, I muttered. There are too many words. It's giving me a headache. I went back to my carving for a while. When I looked up again, the feed seemed to have calmed down. They started talking to me, a chaotic jumble of questions. They explained they were the live comments, and that my life was part of a romance novel set in this era. Ethan was the male lead, Anna was the female lead, and Noah, was the toxic side character trying to ruin their relationship. I read through the comments listing my supposed evil deeds and felt a deep sense of injustice. Am I really that bad? My voice was low and sullen. I didn't know before. I promise I won't go near Anna again. Can you please just stop insulting me so much? The comments vanished for a moment, then reappeared in a frenzy. OMG, I think I'm in love. What is this? I thought he was a wild country boy, but this is some next-level character development. Help! I think I'm starting to ship the wrong couple. After that, I started actively avoiding Anna. The comments, when they saw me, were no longer hostile. They'd even greet me. Isn't that the toxic side character? I'd just say, hey husband, has Noah eaten yet? Let me give you a hug. After he dumped the main girl, the toxic side character got so much hotter. He's got that rugged, bad boy charm. Those broad shoulders, long legs, that waist, too bad the main girl won't get to enjoy it. Drools. I didn't understand half the things they said, but it didn't hurt as much anymore. I was afraid. Anna grew quieter. On the way to and from our work sites, whenever Ethan came to talk to her, I would slow down and let them walk ahead. They really did look good together. They both had that intellectual, book-smart air about them. They were knowledgeable, smart, and cultured. I knew what the other city volunteers said about me behind my back, that I was crude, bossy, and clueless. It stung, but I no longer had the nerve to push my way into their world. A while later, news came that the SATs were being reinstated and college applications were opening up again. The volunteers were ecstatic. Naturally, Anna and Ethan were going to apply. My parents had hoped Anna could tutor me, but I just wasn't cut out for studying. At first, I used it as an excuse to be near her because I liked her. After we had our falling out, I stopped completely. The night before Anna left, dinner was a somber affair. I knew this would be the last time I'd see her. Once she left, she wasn't coming back. My parents were sad too. They had genuinely grown fond of Anna. She was quiet and reserved, but she was kind and down to earth. Even when we fought, she never gossiped or spread rumors. They had seen how much I liked her and had even hoped that if she liked me back, they could get married. For over a year, they had treated her like a daughter. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be. A phoenix couldn't be kept in a chicken coop. There was nothing to be done. During dinner, my parents were saying their goodbyes to Anna. But after the meal, Anna, who had been silent for a long time, stood up and bowed deeply to them. My parents, thinking she was just expressing her gratitude, rushed to stop her. But then, Anna said something shocking. Mr. and Mrs. Davis, I'm so sorry. I did something wrong to Noah. He didn't want anyone to know, so he's been hiding it from you. I've thought about it for a long time, and I can't let this go unresolved. The comments around her went wild. I am speechless. She broke her promise. She said she wouldn't tell. Thankfully, Anna took all the blame. She endured a lecture from my parents alone. She told them that after her exams, she would go home, break off her engagement, and then bring her family back to formally discuss marriage. She asked me to wait for her for 2 months. I didn't want to wait, but my parents grabbed me by the ear and told me not to let her down. I felt a pang of guilt and didn't dare say a word. If my parents knew what really happened, I'd be the one getting a beating. Later that night, my mom's heart softened. She gave me a gold bracelet, a family heirloom passed down to the wives in our family, and insisted I give it to Anna. I grumbled and refused to go, but my mom whispered a warning in my ear. Noah Davis, don't think for a second, I don't know what you're like. Anna is not the kind of girl to make that kind of mistake. It was definitely you, pestering and harassing her. There's no such thing as a grown man being forced by a girl. Now that you've been intimate, you need to take responsibility like a man, no matter what. Are you trying to get what you want and then run away? There was no escaping my mom's sharp eyes. I grabbed the bracelet and reluctantly went to Anna's room. She was packing. I placed the bracelet on her desk. My mom wanted me to give this to you. As I turned to leave, Anna shot out an arm and slammed the door shut. You put it on for me. She had me cornered, her arms on either side of me. I lowered my head but glared up at her defiantly. Even after getting scolded by my parents, she was still so bold. Or I'll tell them, she said. She thought for a moment and added, your parents. I was furious. Anna, you're the worst. We agreed you wouldn't tell. You're supposed to be an educated person. How can you go back on your word? We didn't agree. I never promised. I thought back, and she was right. She never actually agreed. Damn it. When I was in school, I hated tattletales more than anything. Under duress, I had no choice but to sit on her bed and put the bracelet on for her. I took her hand to fasten the bracelet around her delicate, fair wrist, and my heart started to pound unexpectedly. I saw the comments floating around her talking nonsense, and I couldn't help but ask, Anna, why did you have to say anything? If you hadn't, you could have gone back to being a rich girl in the city and married Ethan. I wouldn't have said a word. No one would have ever known. You would have gone on with your life, and I would have gone on with mine. Eventually, I'd pick someone my parents set me up with and get married. Anna's voice was suddenly cold and fierce. Don't you dare. Noah, you're not allowed to marry anyone else. I won't allow it. Anna, what right do you have to tell me what to do? You're the one going back to get married, and you're telling me I can't. She seemed annoyed. Noah, did you not hear what I just said? I'm going back to break off the engagement, and then I'm coming to your family to make things right. I gently touched the bracelet on her wrist. Don't bother, Miss Miller. My family and I are not good enough for you. I'm just a country boy. I was the one aiming too high before. I won't do it again. You should go back. Don't say things like that to trick me. I'm afraid I'll wait for you until I'm a lonely old man. Anna suddenly lunged forward, silencing me with a kiss and pushing me back onto the bed. She kissed me until I was breathless. I tried to push her away, but she pinned my wrists, her forehead pressed against mine. Just 2 months, Noah. Just wait for me for 2 months. Her eyes were soft and shimmering, like a captivating fox, and the way she looked at me made me feel like she wanted to eat me alive. It was a little scary. Anna left. My parents insisted I go with them to see her off at the train station. She looked at the train, then at me, and suddenly smiled. I knew she was laughing at me again, remembering when I'd said something stupid about how trains worked. I shot her a glare and didn't say goodbye. I didn't want to wait for her, but I couldn't help but count the days. When would the exams be over? When were the application deadlines? When would the results be out? I, who hated school, was suddenly obsessed with the academic calendar. Many of the local kids and volunteers who took the exams had already returned, some with acceptances, some with rejections. But they all mentioned Anna, saying she had done exceptionally well and had been accepted to the University of Washington, the best university in the state. My parents were both happy and worried when they heard. On the last day of the 2 months, she still hadn't come. That night, my dad sat on the porch, smoking, while my mom kept her head down, sewing. I stayed in my room, staring at the ceiling until dawn. I made a decision. This would be the last night. Tomorrow, I would forget Anna completely. The truth is, I always knew that tacky gold bracelet didn't suit her elegant, fair wrist, just like I was never good enough for the swan-like girl she was. I knew that once the swan flew away, it wouldn't return to the frog's little pond. The gap between us was too vast. I didn't even know how to begin to cross it. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life nursing a broken heart, wasting away in a hopeless wait. She had made a promise and broken it. My old self would have hunted her down for an explanation, but now, remembering the future those comments described, I was too scared. I told my parents my decision. Seeing how resolved I was, they could only say with a sigh, "It's good that you can let her go. If she can't keep her word, she's not the right person to spend your life with. It was never going to work if you were the only one invested. There will be other good girls." Coincidentally, my aunt from Seattle was visiting. When she heard what happened, her eyes lit up and she slapped her thigh. "I think Noah's a bold kid with a lot of drive. Why doesn't he come to the city with me and start business? Once he's making his own money, who needs some girl who breaks her promises?" So I went to the city with my aunt. There were so many people and the buildings were so tall. Everyone looked so fashionable. At first, I was nervous, feeling like a country bumpkin who didn't belong. But after a few trips with my aunt to the wholesale markets and helping her run a stall, I slowly got used to it. I was strong and could always snag the best goods. My voice was loud, and my sales pitch could be heard from half a block away. I was happy, watching the money come in, greeting every customer with a big smile. Back in Havenwood, I was bossy, rude, and uneducated. In the city, those traits became assertiveness and efficiency in business. My aunt was thrilled, saying I was a natural. My aunt set up a small shop for my cousin, and I helped her run it. My cousin, Jessica, was around my age and had recently gotten married. She was pregnant, but her husband was away on a business trip. It wasn't ideal for a pregnant woman to be alone, so I helped out. Most customers assumed we were a married couple running the shop. I would just smile and play along to avoid any trouble for Jessica. One day, I was helping a customer when a familiar voice sounded from the entrance. "Excuse me, the designs on these wood carvings are quite unique. How much are they?" I turned my head and came face to face with someone I knew. It was Ethan Carter. In the city, Ethan no longer looked like the dusty volunteer from a farm. He wore a crisp white shirt, black slacks, and gold-rimmed glasses, looking every bit the polished gentleman. He was with a few friends who were just as tall and handsome. "Noah," he stared, his eyes wide. "What are you doing here?" He glanced from me to Jessica's pregnant belly, and his intended question died on his lips. He chuckled lightly. "Well, it looks like congratulations are in order. Even though you didn't go for the SATs, you've managed to check off a major life milestone first." The moment I saw him, the comments reappeared. How was the toxic side character here? And who's the pregnant woman with him? Did he knock her up and get married? OMG, is this a double cheating storyline? Anna is going to be devastated. This plot has gone completely off the rails. I don't even know who to ship anymore. Every customer was a potential sale. I no longer cared about his condescending tone or those nonsensical comments. The words of a good salesman came to me naturally. "Hey man, good to see you. You know how it is. College isn't for everyone. I always got a headache just looking at a book, not like you smart guys. I'm just cut out for running a small business. I carved these myself. They're not for sale. But we're all friends here. If you see anything else in the shop you like, I'll throw one in for free. Or, if you have a specific design in mind, let me know, and I can carve it for you." "Wow, the owner here really knows how to do business," one of his friends said. Ethan looked at me as if he'd seen a ghost. But his friends were charmed and started browsing. In the end, even Ethan bought something. As they were leaving, his eyes kept darting between me and Jessica. I didn't care what he was thinking. I was already warmly greeting the next customer. A few days later, I was closing up shop after dark. As I bent down to lift a crate, a pair of feet in delicate high heels stopped right in front of me. I looked up and met a pair of cool, beautiful eyes. It was Anna. She was wearing a flowy white dress, a fashionable little hat, and an expensive pearl necklace. On her wrist was the gold bracelet I had put on her. Clothes really do make the person. She looked even more beautiful than when she was at my house. But her slightly messy hair and rumpled collar gave her an air of dishevelment. She was paler and thinner, with dark circles under her eyes, looking exhausted. She glanced at Jessica, sitting inside the shop, her expression defeated. Her voice was hoarse when she asked, "Is she nice? Do you love her?" I didn't understand. My business instincts took over. "We're closed for the day. Did you want to buy something?" She fell silent. When Jessica came out, Anna left without another word. I had no idea what she was doing there. She should have started her classes at UW a while ago. But after that night, I would occasionally catch a glimpse of her. She was strikingly beautiful, and with a cloud of comments always following her, she was hard to miss. Sometimes, when Jessica wasn't around, she would come and talk to me. "She doesn't even take care of you. What's so great about her?" I was late coming back. But that doesn't mean you can just find someone else so casually. You need to be more responsible with your life. The people back home said you didn't even have a proper wedding ceremony or a formal engagement. There's no respect for the commitment you've made to each other. Blah, blah, blah. Anna was lecturing me again. It was so annoying. "Anna, it's none of your business. Even my parents don't talk to me like this." My words left her speechless. She looked so lonely, like a stray dog on the street, lost and pathetic. The comments started up again. "El Mayo, the main girl is in full-on stalker mode, only daring to show up when the wife isn't around. Tone it down, girl. You're going from an ice queen to a crazy ex-girlfriend. If this keeps up, she's going to become the other woman in this story." After that, Anna didn't show up again, though occasionally I'd find bags of prenatal supplements left at the shop's door. I figured she'd give up after a while, but I was wrong. Not long after, something major happened. One afternoon, while I was minding the shop, our neighbor, Mrs. Gable, yelled at the top of her lungs, "Noah, you better come quick. Your wife's been caught cheating." I was stunned and immediately ran after her to the scene. My cousin Jessica was the most honest, down-to-earth person I knew. How could she be caught cheating? Pushing through the crowd of onlookers, I finally saw Jessica being held by the arm. The person holding her was tall, elegant, and beautiful, but her grip and her voice were surprisingly strong. It was Anna. I yelled, "Anna, are you crazy? Why are you harassing her?" Anna's voice was full of righteous anger. "She's pregnant, and she's out here hugging another man behind your back. Noah, are you blind? How could you fall for a woman like this?" I glanced over and saw a man being held back by others, desperately trying to explain something. It couldn't be my unlucky brother-in-law, who had just gotten back from his trip, could it? Oh no, I had really gotten my cousin into trouble this time. Filled with guilt, I grabbed Anna's arm. "What does this have to do with you? Anna, you have too much time on your hands." I tried to pull her off Jessica, but Anna suddenly went limp, letting me pull her away. "Noah, you're hurting me for her. So you'd rather have this two-timing woman than me." I was about to lose my mind. She was going to ruin both my and Jessica's reputations. But when I turned back to her, I was met with a pair of glistening eyes. Crystal clear tears were streaming down her beautiful face. She was crying. The always cool and composed Anna was crying. The comments around her were going insane, and the crowd of gossips was loving it, savoring every moment of the drama. I felt like I was going to explode. I yelled at the top of my lungs for everyone to hear, "Anna, please just stop. That's my cousin." Anna froze. Then she laughed. She actually had the nerve to laugh. In the end, my and Jessica's reputations were saved. Anna went to my aunt and cousin's house to apologize and was met with a cold shoulder. But Anna started coming to the shop every day whenever she had free time, and eventually they stopped giving her the silent treatment. She didn't do much when she came. Whatever I was doing, she would help. When I was minding the shop, she would sit quietly to the side and read a book. She was so beautiful that even when she was just sitting there silently, she drew customers in. Guys passing by would always come in, trying to catch her eye. Anna told me everything. She had broken off her engagement, but a family emergency had delayed her trip to my parents' house. She was only about a week late, but by then, I was already gone. My parents had been vague, so she couldn't find me. Later, her ex-fiancé, Ethan, deliberately told her that I had married another woman who was already pregnant. That's when she tracked me down and saw me with my pregnant cousin, which led to the whole public spectacle. She told the story calmly, but the comments around her betrayed the truth. I can vouch for this. When she saw the side character laughing with his pregnant wife, her world fell apart. LOL. The main girl was late because her dad got into some trouble at work and was under investigation. But she died before she told you that. So the official male lead was a liar? Goose. Haters gonna hate. I'm a sucker for this kind of drama. I love it. Come on, Noah, just take her back. She's been holding back for so long. She's like a pressure cooker about to explode. I want to see some steamy content. Anna said she was going to my parents' house again to formally ask for my hand in marriage and told me to write to them so they could prepare. I was hesitant. That night, after we closed the shop, she didn't get a clear answer from me, so she refused to leave. She could seem so cool and aloof, but in moments like these, she was incredibly stubborn and clingy. I was sitting at a table, cleaning up, and she kept inching her chair closer to mine. A moment later, I felt a weight on my shoulder as she rested her head there, her arms wrapping around my waist from behind. Noah, are you still not going to take responsibility? Her voice was still cool, but her hot breath on my ear made the tip of it burn. But you don't really like me. I was the one chasing you from the beginning. You're just doing this now because you feel like you have to. I'm not smart, and I'm not good at school. What if you regret it later and start to hate me? What if you try to get revenge on me? Anna chuckled softly and nibbled on my ear. Noah, do you really think I would have let you chase me for so long if I wasn't interested? You're so dense. It's a good thing you haven't run into any truly bad people, or you'd be scammed out of everything you own. She said that, but her breathing grew heavier and her hands started to wander. When I finally understood what she meant, my face turned beet red. I sputtered in embarrassment. Anna, you're the bad person here. Anna shamelessly hummed in agreement. Then why did you say you were going to handle me back then? My family's butler came to see me and told me I could start the process to go home. I didn't want to leave yet. If they knew I wanted to break off my engagement, they would have forced me to go back. So I said that on purpose. My face grew even hotter, and my heart began to pound in that familiar, frantic way. Then why didn't you want to leave? Anna's long fingers intertwined with mine, our hands clasped together. What do you think, Noah? I didn't dare to say it. Suddenly, something cool touched my wrist. I looked down and saw a new watch, shiny, classic, and handsome. Anna looked at me seriously, her fair cheeks slightly flushed. Noah Davis, I've always liked you. Will you marry me? I decided to give her a hard time. What's this? I thought you city people buy rings when you get married. Anna smiled faintly. Your mom said you prefer practical things like this. Do you like it? The feelings I had suppressed for so long finally found their way out. I couldn't hold back my smile any longer. I tilted my head up and happily kissed her soft lips. I love it. Epilogue. And it took me to meet her family first. Their house was huge and beautiful. She really was a city princess. Thankfully, her parents were very kind to me. When they found out I had started my own business, they gave me a lot of things to help. I felt a bit awkward, so I left everything at Anna's house for the time being. After Anna went to my parents' house to make the official proposal, she dragged me to get married as soon as she got back. She might seem cold, but she was incredibly clingy. I think my ignoring her before had really pent up her feelings, so now she took every opportunity to stick to me, to seduce me. The comments became even more outrageous. Hey there, hubby. How many times are you rewarding yourself tonight? Why can't we see his neck anymore? Come on, just tell us how much it costs. Name your price. OMG, why can't adults watch the adult channel? I'm dying of curiosity. We had one wedding reception at Anna's parents' house and another back in Havenwood. We moved into our own new house. Eventually, the comments disappeared. Before they left, they told me that the story had a happy ending and was now complete. All the bad things that were supposed to happen wouldn't happen anymore. I was relieved, but I didn't dwell on it too much. Their story might be over, but my life was still going. When I wake up tomorrow, it will be a new day,